So this is my first video on this channel. It will be a Call of War based channel, and I hope to entertain and train people in this relatively popular game. But first, I would like to shout out to my alliance. It's called the Medieval Knights Templar 3. Give me a sec to find this. Alright, so Medieval Knights Templar 3, which is part of the MKT Greater Sister Alliance. We currently have 2 alliances in the top 50 of the world, so I'm just doing this to recruit any good players. So right now, onto this video. Alright, so since this is my first video, I thought it would be fitting to make one on the selection of a person's country. It is actually a very important thing that many players don't pay much attention to, and that causes a lot of problem at any stage of the game. If I were to open the Clash of Nations, which right now I'm in a tutorial map, we can see that 22 countries are playable. So I'm not just going to list them out, but I'm going to point out the pros and cons of each country's geopolitics. So first we'll talk about the Americas. The northern states of America, which is this country, has the worst geopolitical situation. They have 2 potential enemies, Canada up north and myself right now, the Confederates, down south. The coastline isn't really much of a problem. Alright, this guy is a noob. Alright, so the coastline, like I said, isn't much of a problem. And actually might be kind of a benefit since they have Boston, New York, Philadelphia, I think it's on the coastline, but Washington, D.C. isn't. That's 3 cities on the coastline, which means they can build up their navy really fast. Another country is Canada. Canada has a relatively good geopolitical situation, probably one of the best actually. They really only have one front to worry about, as out in the east really isn't much except for the UK that could actually threaten them. But they do have a problem. It's the fact that these provinces are extremely large, so moving units from, let's say, Kujak, I don't know how to say that, down to Toronto or Ottawa or Montreal or Quebec and Halifax takes a while to do that, and that's also is another problem, is just these chain. This is kind of like a chain, right? Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec. So if the northern states decided to blitz Canada, it would be in a very precarious situation, as those 4 cities would be under immediate threat, unlike any other cities on the map. Like, it's just right next to the border and all 4 of them. So, and then down south we go over here to the Confederate States of America. There's Atlanta, Savannah, whatever, Charlotte. These guys have probably the best geopolitical situation on the entirety of the Clash of Nations map. They only have one front to worry about. Out to the east, there isn't really much of a threat. Morocco, maybe. Spain, maybe. Other than that, not much. They have one AI nation to pick off easily, and they can really just focus on taking out the northern states immediately. Now, moving on to Europe and Africa, their situations are a lot more different. So, up north over here is the UK. They have probably the best initial positions compared to most of its European neighbors and Africa. If you're a really good player, you can just focus on fortifying these naval situations, subs, destroyers, focusing on your navy, naval bombers. They really help out. Now down over here, France, Italy, Germany, Sweden, Poland, Yugoslavia, Romania, Ukraine, Commie Russia. They're just not in a very fine position. Like over here, France has the threat of the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain at the same time, and maybe even a naval invasion coming in from Algeria. Over here, Italy, same thing. France, Yugoslavia, Libya, down south. Germany has France on its borders, Poland, Sweden, and you guys can just get the point here. It's quite obvious that just these middle countries, they're not in a great position on the map, and they're forced to have multiple fronts very early on in the game. So up north in Scandinavia, there's Sweden and Finland. Finland and Sweden, they just seem to be very good. I mean, just Finland. Finland seems to be very good, but they have one city there, share Leningrad right here, border at Leningrad, Sweden, and once Karelia is taken over by the Russian Empire, they're under immediate threat. Now moving down south, we've got southern Russia, Ukraine, the Cossack Republic. I don't think that's playable. But so Ukraine has this threat, Romania, Poland, Communist Russia, and I think they even share. Yep, they do share a very small border with the Caucasus. Caucasus also have similar problem because the Russian Empire can easily get through the Cossack Republic, which is just an AI country, and get a border with these guys. Turkey and Egypt, they have relatively good positions, I would say. Only thing Turkey has to really be worried about is the Caucasus, and I doubt that Romania will actually pose an immediate threat to Turkey. Same thing with Egypt. Egypt and Turkey might have to fight if they really wanted to, but I think Egypt would be more focused on uniting Africa instead of going after the Middle East and Turkey. And now moving down here into Africa, there's Algeria and Libya. Both nations not in a good position because Morocco can take out Algeria, Egypt can take out Libya, the Italians can go down south and make a naval invasion. Algeria can, and they can just fight each other, of course. Now over here, Morocco is actually in a relatively fine position because they have border with Spain, which can easily be negotiated to, or can easily be taken by force, because I doubt Spain's gonna actually pay attention to these. Maybe this province because it's a steel province. Other than that, they really only have to focus on Algeria and maybe a naval invasion from the Americas, but other than that, not much of a problem. And I think this is all in the Clash of Nations map. So now I also want to talk about geopolitics in the mid game. It's a very, very important thing. Let this load. All right, so this is my current map I'm playing. I've just taken over most of the Americas at this point, and I've begun my naval invasion of Spain, which is absolutely in a very poorly planned, I would say, but I mean, it's not much of a problem. I'm assembling most of my units and just getting my troops all united and get a single thrust. I do not know why the AI has 3 artillery here. There's maybe, I don't even know. There's no point. All right, so a couple days ago, I think it was day 8. What day are we on? Day 10? Day 11. We're on day 11. So day 11. So on day 8, Germany had invaded Spain. Spain's border was around here-ish. They had invaded France, and then Spain lost Madrid, and they just decided to go inactive, which I guess is sad. There are 2 coalitions. This is my alliance, and there is the Russian Republic states. Only one of them are not even okay. So yeah, these guys aren't Russian. Ukraine, I mean, I guess you can call them Russian, but not really. And Egypt is not even close, so whatever. Okay, so now back to Germany's geopolitical situation. So my coalition kind of just popped up because Germany needed help, and I didn't want him to just die and let Romania and Ukraine all just gang up on him, and maybe even Sweden, who was inactive at the time. So Germany decided to attack Spain when Romania and himself shared a border, which was not a really wise decision. His geopolitical situation was really, really bad, and just somehow it worked for him because some of my units were I wasn't planning to invade Portugal, but he said he needed help in invading Spain. So I was like, yeah, I'll just move some units in here. And yeah, this was my initial invasion fleet of just Portugal. That's why they came here so early compared to my other fleets, my other convoys. It was day 10, and these are the sort of problems that many Central European countries would face. If this was France or maybe this was Poland, they would all be facing very similar problems to what Germany did have on day 10. Even now, like if I decided to backstab him, he would be in a really, really bad situation where maybe Italy might come back and become active, invade through Switzerland and pose a threat over in this like Maginot area. Romania can easily invade Austria and just attack Germany directly instead of going on their border over here. So there's a lot of stuff. Guderian, I think his name's Guderian. Yep, that's Guderian. Really miscalculated on, but not a bad player. So, I mean, he probably was expecting me to become allies with him because it was kind of obvious. We both want to kill off this alliance right now. Alright, so in summation, wow, I can't press this X button. Okay, there. In summation, it is very important to select a country with a coastline, especially on those 100-player maps where there's so many landlocked countries. You need to focus on limiting the amount of fronts you have. More your troops are split up, the worse off you are. And number 3, believe in the Illuminati. And 4, there is no number 4. Okay, and just wrapping up this video now. Also, I may set up a Discord channel depending on how this channel goes. But here's Soviet Sledgehammer signing off.